All right, so I got my notepad. Anyone want to go first?
Not it.
Man, we're doing not it. That's crazy. How about you, Jaquan?
Boy, did you not hear me? I said not it.
You also said not it. All right.
Do we say it at the same time?
Yeah.
It's your channel, Keith. You lead the way.
I like to think of it as our channel, but okay.
Our channel. Oh, yes, the communist
channel.
environment? Okay. Say less.
In this economy, I don't think so. Imagine you have to pay if you had to pay royalties just to use YouTube.
My God.
Nobody would use that website. All right. So my first one obviously is I want Pommy to evolve. Any Pommy stands? Any Pommy stands in the Discord chat? Does anyone not? Do you guys not want Pommy to evolve? Jaquan, do you want Pommy to evolve? I don't think you've said anything about it yet.
Are we talking about?
Dude, that's my first one. My first one is I want Pommy to evolve.
Wait. I thought we were discussing.
We are discussing.
Are we just Scarlet and Violet or Lloyd
or Journey? Yeah, Scarlet and Violet. What do you want to see in the game? That's what we're discussing.
Okay.
The 3 wants and 3
Yeah, no, my first is literally I want Pommy to become bigger and stronger. I want him to grow up.
No, I'm down for that. I mean, so far, what I kind of want out of the game, I'm over Mega Evolution. I know that's never coming back.
Yeah,
I'm not ready.
That's true.
I kind of want them to focus more on kind of like the story in the game mechanics.
Yeah.
One thing I do want them to really bring back that I enjoyed from like Arceus was the the frost mechanic.
Basically,
like the different statuses.
Yeah, different
how the statuses were different.
So, well, that's the only one that I want them to keep from because Drowsy. I think Drowsy is kind of a weird one. It's like if I want you to go to sleep, I use sleep powder. It's not drowsy. I don't want you to be drowsy. I'm putting you to sleep.
Yeah.
But I think the frozen status was probably the best thing they added because changing frozen to be basically the special attack version of burn.
Yeah.
Makes it more viable. It makes it more worth it when you actually get
it's like, oh, let me get an ice type so that I can lower special attack.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely one thing I would like them to bring into the game, and just getting rid of regular frozen because like it's such a situational thing and people get pissed when they get frozen. So it's like
true.
So
and it's like freeze on its own isn't that different.
It's not, but I mean like
you can just be
the thing about it. Yeah. It literally you getting frozen is RNG because I mean like you're frozen, you don't know when you'll come out of frozen, and it's like you can't do anything about it unless you have a Pokemon with flame body, which situation.
Or you use like Scald or something. Some moves have the interaction, but not many. Not enough.
Like Incinerate, maybe.
But you know what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it's a situational thing.
Yeah. Oh, I just squeaked my whole chair. That's a no.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's one I didn't even think about because I did think about like what they could carry over from Legend Arceus, but because I really wanted it to feel a little, I don't know which battle style I really want between the two, you know. But
I mean, like
I figured that they would keep some things and save some others for maybe future spin-offs.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like for me, that was like kind of the only thing I wouldn't mind having come back.
Yeah, just have them add some of the like battle mechanics. That's a good one.
Yeah, just don't get me wrong. Kind of strong and agile style. They're okay to me.
Yeah.
You know, I can live without them. But like definitely
without them.
definitely the frost status is something I really would love for them to bring into the meta instead, and just getting rid of the old mechanic of frozen.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Like completely, like
just don't want
get it out of here.
Never existed change it. And I mean, like, they've done that with a lot of things.
Yeah, like
So
they
it's
made it
not-
so electric types can't get paralyzed, fire types can't get burned.
So I mean, it's not like it's not possible.
True. All right, Darian, what's your first one?
My first one is I want this game to have a quote unquote true open world. I know they said, hey, this is gonna be an open world Pokemon game, and the thing is, Pokemon's never really done like they've done like the wild areas and stuff and the DLC areas in Sword and Shield, but they've never done anything like a true proper open world before, and I really want them to flex their muscles and see what they can do, because usually Pokemon routes is you go through the gate, you pass through the route, there's usually some grass, some trainers, maybe one or two side detours, but mainly it's just a straight linear path. But with this game being as non-linear as an open world a game is nowadays, I really want them to properly populate the world with things to do. I don't want it to feel barren or barren, empty, same
Yeah,
thing. But
barren,
I want
yeah.
them to put in side quests or maybe these little side paths, and like how Breath of the Wild has all the shrines. I don't know if they're going to do their own version of it. Maybe like a lot of branching caves, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
how
like
cool
in
would it
Black
be?
and White, they had those little tree paths.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
there'd be just
the hidden
random paths.
grottos.
Yeah, the grottos, like something to really make the open world feel populated and not too boring. Because, like I said, Game Freak's never really done an open world before, so I just really hope they can do it right. So
Yeah,
it's
how
not
cool
just
would it
completely
be?
void of things to do.
How cool would it be since we won't have like raid dens and stuff, right? What if they replaced the raid den idea with like the boss fight type stuff from Legends Arceus, where you could like
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
do that whole mini game. That would be nice. Because like obviously this was a good warm up game, right? For it, you rarely ever feel like you can't do what you want in Legends Arceus. Obviously there's like story progression and you have to meet characters and truly explore each area, but from the jump you can kind of just do whatever you want. So hopefully, hopefully they master that. All right, I mean, I guess I gotta say my second one now. I want. Oh yeah. Okay, so in Sword and Shield, as you guys remember, we had a really cool introduction to the wild area, where some Pokemon do not care what level you are, and they're just higher level, right? So what I want them to do is have proper level scaling for not only maybe like normal trainers, but especially gym leaders. Speaking of how we were talking earlier about like the anime type stuff, I want the I forget what that series was called, but in it you have like Brock taking on a trainer, and he selected the Pokemon based on the level that the trainer was at, how many gym badges they had. I want that.
That was Pokemon Origins.
Origins, yes.
Yeah.
That was like 2
I
years
love
ago.
that series.
It's, to me, no, I agree that scaling needs to be a thing for especially for open.
Yeah.
And it's not like Game Freak can't do it.
They just might not.
I think the one thing is that they have a history of making bad scaling.
Yeah.
Gen 2 remake. But what I mean, like, for me, what I kind of want is that the story kind of still progresses no matter where you go. I just don't know how they're gonna do it, just because, say I go to city B instead of city A, and I meet a character, and that character is so and so and so and so, and then it's like, okay, and what if I decide that after I beat Gym B, I want to go to Gym A?
Oh yeah, and then you go back and they're just low level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just my only problem. It's just I want them to scale it correctly. I mean, like, I want these Pokemon to at least be two. At least I don't have to meet their level in like the same level as them. Like, if they can be at least 2 levels higher than me, then I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I think again, like Sword and Shield obviously did a decent job with wild Pokemon. And then Legends Arceus just went all out, and they did not care. They let you get bodied on the regular, and I think that's a good approach. It shows that they trust their player base to be a bit more mature, and to actually put a bit more thought into the gameplay. So if they just carry that principle over, refine it, maybe grab the guys from Ilka over here to do the teams and stuff, then we'll be good.
Oh,
Oh,
Ilka is
yeah.
working on some. Ilka is working on something else right now.
Yeah, it's tragic.
Um,
Because BDSP has the best gyms right now.
what was
No,
that
by
about to say?
far.
Oh no, by far. Dang. What was I about to say? It'll come back to me.
Yeah, so ideally, right, like you were saying, I want them to make it so that they program. Okay, so you know how we've had a lot of previous games that let you do rematches, right? Ever since like Emerald, where you could just go back and rematch at the post game. They did that for a few years for a few entries. Then they still do it to an extent, but do that, but in the main game. So let's say that we have Brock, right? And he's got his Geodude and Onyx. But if you come to him later, maybe he has a Graveler and an Onyx. And then you come back later, maybe he has like 3 or 4 Pokemon. And then maybe he's your last gym. And then you got a whole last gym. I think there's either a fan game or there's a fan game that I think does that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an easy thing for them to do, right? They've added multiple they've added multiple gym leader battles before. They've added multiple teams before. They've added a lot of stuff, and they push a lot of it to post game. Obviously, BDSP even has that, and we haven't even it was BDSP, so it isn't a Pokemon game. Where after you beat the game, they have completely different teams that you can fight. They should do that. If they don't do that, then I'm gonna be very disappointed.
I agree. I think I kind of remember what I wanted to talk about. I had a little more variety to the gyms. I'm kind of tired of seeing these repeat types, and I kind of understand.
Yeah, they only
why
have so many.
repeat types are- like I understand the reason for like some types being repeated because it's easy to find certain Pokemon in the wild for you to counter those gyms.
And sometimes they just give them to you too.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I kind of want them to try the great gyms that don't have a gym yet. Like I'm pretty sure what's left on the list that doesn't have a
I
gym.
think every type has had a gym. I think the only one that didn't was Dark, and now in Gen 8 we got Piers. Other than that,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think every other type has had at least one gym.
Yeah.
So
Let me
every other
see.
type has had a gym now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yo,
Let me take a look.
imagine they have a
What?
dragon gym and you try and take that on first.
Hmm?
You're just getting waxed. Yeah, I feel
True.
like there's only so much they can do without adding more types. But yeah,
Well,
but I mean, as long as it's not in a pattern that feels too familiar, I think it'll work
I
out.
mean, there's no reason for them to add any more types just because of the balance.
Yeah, game's
Because
perfectly
it's all
balanced.
about it's all about balance at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no there shouldn't be a type.
Yeah.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a new type for a very long time, and if they do, they'd have to add 3 and not just 1.
Oh, you know what? That's actually kind of insane. But yeah, that Fairy on its own is already abstract enough. I don't think they can come up with any others that feel natural.
Yeah.
I know we could easily talk about how dumb people are to say things like sound type, but we don't have to do that. We already know. Everybody
the
knows.
light type, which is
Light
I mean,
Dark
definitely-
type, light type.
Definitely, I mean, like, there's only like a few Pokemon that would benefit from having a sound type, which is Expellout and Toxtricity.
Yeah, Chatot.
It's
It's like
Chatot.
it's that's a non.
But they
variable.
usually have abilities for
But
that.
the
Yeah.
thing about it is that normal just falls under that category.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like
Yeah.
why would I why would they create another type when sound is a normal thing?
Yeah, that's like adding a gravel type when you already have a rock type.
So looking at the list, it looks like Steel is the gym that's had the least amount of appearances. We haven't had a Steel gym since Byron. So
wait,
I'm about to say it. Yeah,
Wait.
because Byron and Jasmine are the only.
yeah, I'm just looking at the list.
that's crazy. Actually,
So yeah, some more variety would be real nice.
I mean, if they really want to
Doesn't
pay
do
attention to
well.
detail, they could do that. But we have had a Steel Elite 4 member.
Well, I don't.
Correct.
I don't.
And a Steel champion with Steven. So
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like if they
Um,
throw it in Elite 4 because it's kind of a stronger type, then so be it. But if they throw it in gyms, that'd be okay too. But
Yeah,
you know,
I
like,
mean-
that's the thing for me, right? It's like I can't think of like, we absolutely need this because we've kind of had enough of everything. It's more like it's more on them to actively decide, hey, there's these types that haven't been used in a gym much. Let's use those, like bug type. But do you really want to fight a bug type gym leader?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
Bug type has plenty of gyms at this point.
I can only think of like 2.
Buggy.
well, I have the
Bird,
list. I have the list. We had Bugsy in Gen
Okay,
2.
Okay. Can I finish? I know them. God.
Okay.
He knows them by heart.
As you wish.
Bugsy.
Mhm.
Bird.
Mhm.
Right, yeah.
What's her name with the camera?
Oh yeah, Viola. Yeah,
Viola.
we got 3.
3.
There's only been 3.
There's only been
Yeah.
3. We can have a
More bug type gens, please.
I mean,
love
Viola's gym was hard because it came at the beginning of the game when your Pokemon aren't that strong. And then she
Yeah.
had Surskit and Masquerain, which were both good types. Like if they actually pick good Pokemon, then it'll be fine. But
Yeah,
overall, oh look, I'm getting my starter.
I don't know. I mean, definitely. I guess we can maybe like theorize what gyms could appear.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yo,
it's been a while since
I need a
it's been while
dragon.
we had
I
a-
need a dragon.
It's been a while since we had a ghost gym.
We just had one, but it was version.
We had
exclusive.
Alistair.
Oh well.
It was version exclusive, yeah. Wait, which one of us had the best? Which one of us had the best starter when we played Legends Arceus the first time around?
The best.
Well, I had Cyndaquil.
Yeah.
I had Samurai.
Yeah,
So-
which one of those was the best? Because it definitely wasn't mine. Rowlet was not the best.
Probably Cyndaquil.
I think it was
No,
Cynical, right?
No, I think it was mine. Samurai. Because
Alright.
water.
Either or.
Alright, I'll go with Chick One.
Huh?
I'll go with
Water
Ashura.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna use.
I'm
Actually,
trying
I
to
was
smurf the
gonna
game.
use all Shuat.
Yeah, I'm trying to smurf the
Yeah.
game.
Because Samurai is oddly enough decently fast.
Yeah, it's decently quick and it's got some good mixed stats.
Yeah.
Okay, so aside
Just
from
the
your
joy's just
favorite,
slow.
aside from your favorite type, what type do you guys want to see in the game
What type do I want to see? in the game?
for one of the
Uh,
gyms? Like what's
for
an
the
absolute
gym?
must have?
For me, I'd say probably Poison, since I haven't seen
Oh,
it
that's
in a while.
yeah, that's a good one. We really don't
Yeah.
have poison gym leaders.
Because what you call it from the what's her name?
Koga
From-
and what's her name?
Janine.
Janine.
And then we had Roxy. But I was talking about who's the one girl from Isle of Armor? Or was it the dude?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Avery
Yeah,
was the psychic.
Avery
It
was
was the
psychic,
girl
it
who
was
tried
Clara.
to.
yeah,
Yeah, Clara. She was supposed to be a gym leader, but
yeah. She is a
got
gym leader,
axed,
but
I guess.
just not one that you fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she uses poison types.
I think
for me-
Poison type is one that I would like to see just because we don't see it often. Other from
Mhm.
what
yeah, definitely.
Gen 1? Gen 1 was only?
Gen 1
Gen
and
1
Gen
and
5.
That's it. Yeah, we could definitely get a
Yeah.
poison
Yeah.
type in there.
Gen 1 and Gen 5 are the only poison gens. And they're so early. Well, Koga's not early, but
I mean,
Roxy is early.
Koga's right there. So I mean, it can be early because Gen 1 lets you do like 3 different gyms at once.
I mean, Koga is technically the 4th and 5th gym leader, so he's kind of
Yeah.
early.
Early.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine a
Like-
late game poison team. Like that's annoying. That is.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he didn't have poison Pokemon though.
yeah, but it was Gen 1. There was like
Yeah.
3 poison type.
No, what do you mean 3? There was a
No,
bunch
no,
of
no. I mean
poison.
like
Oh,
But
yeah.
poison moves itself weren't
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
really-
poison
yeah,
moves,
it
yeah,
was.
but-
It wasn't that incredible.
Yeah.
All right, Darren. What type type you're looking for?
Looking at the list of what we have, I wouldn't mind to see a flying gym. We haven't had a flying gym since Skyla, and then before her we had Winona, and then there was Faulkner.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how Gen 5 just has all the stuff we want.
Now Gen 7 had the golfer chick, who was an Elite Four member, whose name eludes me.
We didn't have a flying type gym leader in Gen 8, did we?
No.
No, we did not.
We had
looking at the list, flying would be nice. Other than that, really?
We had ice and rock.
Yeah, we had ice. It was the 3 main types fighting.
Let's
Ghost,
just not
Fairy,
have a rock type
ice,
gym leader.
Yes, please.
It
also,
feels
ground
like
is always nice. Haven't had one since
ground
Clay. Ground's a really cool typing. Yeah, grounds are just a super cool typing.
This might be cap, but honestly, normal type gyms are actually kind of heat when you really think about them.
Yeah,
I mean,
normal types usually are just straight stats.
Yeah, you got.
I wouldn't mind like seeing some normal gyms, even though we got a decent amount. Like what's her name? Whitney.
Whitney,
there's Whitney, Norman, and Winona. No, Lenora.
That's her name. Lenora and Sharon. We got 2 different ones.
And we haven't had one since Gen 5, so...
Dude, Gen 5 just has all the... Just give us Gen 5.
I lied. No, I lied. Gen 7, what's his name? The trial captain.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he was like the first one. That forgettable pretty boy. Yeah. Yeah,
the pretty boy. Well, Gen 7's technically the last time, but like...
Yeah, but they weren't really gyms per se.
Well, I mean, it's a specialist, right? Like a specialist. It does count in terms of representation here.
I forgot that guy's name. The guy who looks like a woman.
All right. Well, I lost track. How many have we done now?
I've done one thing I want. That's what I've done so
I did
far.
2. How many did you do?
Yes. What you mean?
Like, how many of your wants have you listed?
You said 1, right?
Yeah.
All right, either one of you, pop off. Go for it.
All right, well, that was his name. Aluma.
Oh yeah, Alima or something like that.
Alima. Yeah, Alima. That's his name.
Yeah.
Forgettable pretty boy.
Pretty much. I guess for my second want, I put a deep post game. Especially after playing Legends Arceus, because
Legends Arceus goes
get the last, and then you have to go through and get all the legendaries and stuff, and then you think back to, because like the other games didn't really have a deep post game. The last one I can remember really enjoying was the Delta episode in Oraz.
Yeah,
Delta episode was really fun. Gen 7, I don't even know what you just get like the wormholes and stuff, and the Crosman's laying on a mountain. Gen 5 had a fun post game with the PWT and stuff. Gen 6, the base games had the Battle Tower and like Friend Safari. And then, like I said, Legends Arceus and Oras had the little side episodes. I would really like to see them go into a good post game, maybe some kind of unlockable area. I know everyone and their mother has been begging and pleading for Battle Frontier.
Yeah, that's just not.
I don't care either way.
Can I interject right there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you're recording, right?
Yep.
Okay. For anyone, Battle Frontier is terrible. I love it, and don't get me wrong, I love it back when I was a kid, but looking back on it, it's terrible. Like,
because there's no infrastructure for competitive battling in Gen 3. It's especially after Gen 6. Like, why would you do it?
And you'd be surprised how jank it is. So I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
I've seen some clips of it too.
Battle Frontier is the jankiest thing you ever could be involved in. So for those who love it, hey, you can love it, but like, I don't want it back unless they're gonna make it better. It's like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, if they did make it, it would have all of the amazing competitive advantages that we gotten from Gen 6 onwards. And you'd actually be able to raise teams better for it. I have on my desktop, maybe I'll get some footage of it later, a copy with Pokemon that I EV trained in Pokemon Emerald in like not real time, but like I didn't do anything extra with it. I just did it all in game with speed up button, and then I started playing Battle Frontier, and I got so bored so fast.
Battle
It was
Frontier
not
is
worth the effort.
it's very it's iffy.
Yeah,
It's really iffy.
you have to just be back in the 2000s, play it.
Yeah, yeah. It's it was a thing back in what 2005 to 2009
Yeah,
or 10 because Heart Gold,
yeah.
and it was fun back then. But
Yeah, like the battle tower that
now
we have now is enough.
it's like I equate it
All
to
my Pokemon are weak to this
Mega
thing.
Evolution. Like it was a gimmick. We're not getting it back, and I don't want
Yeah, in the bin.
it. In the bin.
Yeah, true. So deeper post game. Yeah, I mean to an extent. I just want there to be enough in-game content to where we don't have to even worry about post game until we get there.
Exactly. That's a
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Alright, which one? Alright, so that was Darian's, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You want me
Alright,
to go?
you were contractually obligated to give us the second thing you want in these games.
Oh, okay. What I want for these.
Who's looking at me? Somebody's looking at me. Oh, it's another Shinx. Get me out of here.
Honestly, whew,
Oh,
it's
supposed
kind
to
of hard
catch this
because
thing.
it's kind of hard just because it's when
We don't have that much, right?
when I don't see it, that's when I want it. Like type of spiel.
Yeah.
It's like when I get in the game and I'm like, oh man, I wish I had this.
Yeah. Wish I had some
And then-
popcorn. it just be like that.
Definitely, I think it's about time, and I've been wanting this since Gen 6 or past Gen 6. Another Eevee Evolution. I mean,
Oh, please, for the love of God.
it's been what, almost like 10 years.
Yeah, like 2014. It's been about 8 years. So.
No, 10 because it was Sylveon was 2013, the first fairy.
Shit. Wait, what? No, wait. Did those games come 2013, right?
Pokemon X and Y came out October 12th, 2013. So it's been 9
Jesus.
years.
Yeah. Okay, it's been 9.
I'll-
It's gonna be 10 years by the time the game comes out.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
a
was
decade
just
without
like,
a new evolution sounds about right.
yeah, I don't really care what type it could be because there's a bunch of types they can pick from.
Cough
that-
bug.
Bug.
I think flying would be a nice one. Pretty easy one.
Flying
Yeah.
would be an
Just
interesting
give
one.
Eevee wings.
But I kind of hope for them to do something kind of tying in with the lore of whatever
Oh
this
yeah,
game is.
what is it? I almost said Brazil.
I'm about to say, what is it? France?
Spain.
Spain.
Oh, France was Gen 6. I'm surprised you
Yeah,
even
yeah,
said that.
You're right. I know.
Leave
I
me be.
should- Oy me. Definitely another Eevee.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. It's just like I miss like having the choice of being like, ooh, which Eevee I'm gonna use, and it's like nowadays it's like, well,
I've used them all.
I've
Dude,
used
like,
every
here's-
Eevee.
Here's what I legitimately can't stand about the evolutions, right? Outside of them like buffing stats and adding moves, I almost never use the Kanto ones now.
Yeah,
Except for maybe
it's-
Jolteon.
I mean,
Jolteon
Flareon's my
is probably-
favorite, but and then Vaporeon I feel
Mhm.
like is competitively viable. So
I
those
mean,
are the only two. The only times I think about those two is like either.
I think the
for
one I
fun
use the
or-
most is Espeon.
Yeah,
That's
that,
the one
that
I
makes
use
you
the
consider.
most.
That makes you.
I mean, I'm about to say for me, the one I use the most is probably Sylveon.
yeah, like
It's
like
just-
Sylveon's just the strongest one.
because I mean, like fairy typing is kind of busted. I mean, no offense.
Rightfully so. They brought it. They brought it into
really-
rival the best type.
we really need some more poison types.
Do it.
That I think we kind of do.
Okay.
I mean, some more poison and steel just to kind of balance it back out because
Yeah, I mean, Steel's kind of rare, definitely.
what the only true viable steel type that everyone was clamoring for in Gen 9, Gen 8. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was Duraludon, and you know.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
true. I
one-
can't think of any other steel. I mean,
that
they
was-
had like Berserker, and that just
I
wasn't
mean-
a Pokemon.
Berserker and Copperaja, but I
But,
mean,
Yeah, nobody's
but,
in
like,
Kabaraj.
that was like only 3 steel types that they
Yeah.
like introduced.
I'm sure they'll
when-
introduce another 3.
No, I know, but you know, it's just that fairies. Like I understand
Yeah,
fairies,
like
are
fairy
popular.
combinations especially.
It's
After,
just that,
after the Tapu's got introduced, it's just been too much.
and then plus we got to remember back in Gen 6, a lot of these normal types became fairies.
Became fairy as well.
mhm.
And we kind of need to balance that out a little bit. Like,
Yeah, because
I-
we get fairies to make up for the like 5 generations that didn't exist. We just get a shit ton of fairies.
and like, I mean, like at this point, I think we're good on fairies.
Yeah,
Like,
we're good on
if
fairies.
they only if they only introduced like
Oh, you know what?
3 or 4 in the new game, I'd be fine because we don't need that many fairy types.
You know what? They should make the next pseudo legendary a fairy type.
Hmm.
Because we have
Yeah.
Tyranitar in Gen 2 that's not a dragon type. And then we have
And then
Metagross. And then,
And then-
most of them are dragons.
Yeah, I am kind of tired of the dragon pseudos.
Yeah, like
Like,
Dragapult, as broken as it was in competitive, it's not that interesting a Pokemon because it's dragon type. We want it to be bug
I mean,
type.
like, don't get
Or
me
at least
wrong,
bug
I
dragon.
I understand that dragon is a
I'll
powerful
lost my
typing,
mind.
but wasn't fairy literally created to basically balance out dragons? Why are
Yeah.
we still getting dragon pseudos?
Yeah, why
like-
are the strongest non-legendary Pokemon in every region dragon type?
Give
How
us
does
a
that
poison
balance?
fairy type and break the game.
It's
I
like, how-
honestly, they should just make the pseudo just a random type. But if they make
I
it fairy, that
Throw some
kind of
types in a
helps limit the fairy count.
yeah, I mean,
And also, I am Keith. I like fairy types.
no,
Mm-hmm.
no, bro, I respect that. Like, I understand. You like
I
types.
I
Like you're
respect
talking,
your brazen
you're,
attitude.
bro, you're talking to the man that loves water types, and there's 2.
That's literally the most used.
It's the most. It's, the
it's
most common.
it's everything. It's
It's the
everything.
most common typing, and I hate it. But you know, I
Yeah,
gotta.
and you're
I gotta
talking.
love it.
You're listening to the bug and dark type guy. Bug and
But,
dark. Those are the 2 goats right there.
Like I was saying before, before I got off track. Definitely, I agree with you with that. We do need a new pseudo that's not a dragon type. Please break these trends that we have with the game. I'm tired.
Yeah, like how
Tired.
dope would Dragapult be if it was just a straight bug type or bug ghost instead of
Just something. dude.
instead of like Ghost Dragon? Like Ghost Dragon is such a non-exciting type in comparison.
I mean, it's not exciting for me just because there's Garantina. It's like, why? It's like, if you wanted to go Dragon Ghost,
Yeah.
use Garantina.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm sorry.
you just have a baby Garatina now.
It's just like, use the better typing. Like, it's like, if you're gonna use a Dragon Ghost type, use Garantina. Like,
No other
Bro.
runes. We don't need any more.
Just use it.
no other ones.
Yeah.
Don't
I mean, that was
use any
stupid
of the-
disappointing for me, so I hope the pseudo. I mean, I guess we just tacked on an extra between us.
I mean,
what am I doing here? Crafting?
oh.
I agree, but
Would you like to chime in?
Dan
Chime
does not
in.
know anything about Pokemon.
I don't.
No, he-
I'm just
I mean, the
waiting
only
for
thing he
this
could ask
episode.
for would be
Hello?
a game worth $60.
No, the only thing I'd ask is if it's hard, then I'll play it.
Yeah, true.
okay, I'm actually glad you said that. That's one thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I feel like we covered it. Right.
I know it's not possible because you know we've asked for this for many years.
My boy wants a Nuzlocke mode, doesn't he?
I want a difficulty.
No, he does
mode,
not
yeah,
want
like,
those like mode.
Difficulty toggle.
Oh
I want
yeah,
that.
get a difficulty mode.
Yeah, difficulty mode would be nice.
Yeah,
I mean-
I'm
And like with
I'm-
the open world aspect, honestly, now that you mention it, that would work perfectly with the idea of like gym leaders having different scales to their teams.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think I just don't want. I'm just tired of going into a Pokemon game and being like, I got this Pokemon. level it up. I'm like, oh, I'm breezing for the gems.
Yeah.
No, I want to lose a mon.
You want you
And
want to
then
watch your Pokemon suffer.
I want to lose. Like I want to.
Yeah, I want to use my brain. I want to think, dude. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
It's like literally when I play Pokemon, it's like I don't have to think, and I'm kind of tired of not having to think. You know?
Yeah, that's what I didn't. That's what I didn't like about Sword and Shield. All I did was just spam snipe shot the whole game.
Yeah. Dude,
It's like
freaking
when
Corvette,
Just
you
throw
like the
Mystic
fact that
Auto
they
in there.
introduced a Route 1 bird that became a steel type, and that typing just so happened to sweep the entire game was such an oversight. I think
Yeah, okay.
I
Well,
think
who the
you can
fuck is
just
this? Corviknight? Okay, I guess I'll get
like
this guy.
if
And
you
he
told
just
me
beats
you
everybody.
yeah, if you told me you can get the Sword and Shield speedrun record by playing Corviknight, I would believe you. Because it beats
Hell
everything
yeah,
in that
dude.
game.
Solo Corviknight, screw it.
for sure. I mean, like it's literally a mon that could just be like, oh, let me just get one good move, and then I'm sweeping the whole game. It's like fire types. Who that? Who that?
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
just brave bird.
Because Centiskor's
I
just
just-
weak to flying.
Brave Bird,
So it's
Drill
like, are you really struggling? Are
Yeah,
you really struggling
So-
versus a fire bug type?
yeah. It definitely improved AI. I just
Yeah, I feel like they
Yeah.
just weren't with it for Sword and Shield. Cause like even like Gen 7 was definitely one of the harder games with the totem mechanics.
Yeah.
And then you also had like Gen 6 does have its moments. When I was nuzlocking it all of a sudden just became a completely different game. Cause there's a lot of Pokemon that you could use in that game that actually struggle versus some of the gyms, but I don't know. It really does depend. I always thought X and Y was a bit too easy, but every time I replay it, I struggle. So it maybe not. And they do have enough battles too in like deeper into Gen 6, especially with the team player stuff. You have enough battles to where you're just chugging potions, and you're like really trying not to not to lose a random Pokemon.
sure.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you know, those older games are a lot.
Yeah, like
harder.
the older games, because you're limited, it feels harder. You know, they had bad move sets. There was no physical special split for the longest time, and then Gen 4's AI is just bad for no reason.
Yeah, honestly, Gen 4 and Gen 3 are probably like the scariest games to play Nuzlocke. And just because one, I fucking hate crits. Crits are the most ridiculous thing
crits
ever.
are scary.
They're
Well, good thing you
one
didn't play
out of,
Gen 1, where it's based
they're-
off speed, and Tauros would crit
I
every
know.
single
I'll
time.
never play Gen 1 because of that. Being 1 out of 16 is kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous.
And then it's like basically double the attack. So basically, if you're half health, that's death.
Yeah.
Um, it's scary. It's just scary.
It's very scary.
I definitely but I mean, like I've been enjoying my run through Black 2.
Yeah. I mean, also because it's Nuzlocke.
Yeah, and I mean I've already lost like 3 Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
already whited out.
Oh, you already whited out?
Yeah, I'm caught up now, but I was whited out that one time.
Oh, you're talking about that one.
Yeah, with the rollout. rollout
Yeah.
sweep my whole team.
I was like, when you said when Demon mentioned it to me, and I was like, oh, what you're talking about the Dunsparce, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
Dunsparce.
Dunsparce is scary.
Yeah, I switched what you call it, Riolu, because I was like resisted. I was like,
I didn't have that
okay.
option.
I know.
I thought I was fine.
Dunsparce with rollout. Come on,
Alright,
man.
so where are we at? So
Close
that was
and
Shaquan's second one, right? You guys both did the second
Yes.
one? Alright, so the last one I have here is 6v6 competitive battles. The only reason why I stopped playing Sword and Shield was because 3v3 is not as fun as 6v6, especially with Dimaxing. Because either people used it turn 1, or it just was used to protect too much. If in 6v6, Dynamax is more balanced, and it's a lot more of a fun mechanic. But 3v3s just ruin a lot of dynamics. Like, I would end up creating teams of 6 just to have, like, 3v3 like cores between certain Pokemon, and it just wasn't as fun. It's never going to be as fun. 6v6 is Pokemon. Every time we play an Elite Four battle, we hope it's a 6v6. Every time that we go onto Pokemon Showdown, we're playing 6v6. It's just not worth the whole, we have to put a time limit because it takes too long if you pick stall teams. I don't care. I will play stall teams. I will play stall breaker teams. I don't care. Pokemon will never be a fun game regardless, because people will always have that attitude where it's like, I just want to win. If people really want to, they will do it. And like part of the reason why 3v3s didn't work with Dynamaxing is because they would just do Dynamax turn 1 strategies. They'll just throw out Gyarados or whatever Pokemon's meta, right? Then they added legendaries, and legendaries added to competitive, so it's 3v3, mostly legendaries. Well, the viable ones at least. Everyone can catch them. Meanwhile, Smog and Tears, capturing it at Ubers. Sword and Shield's competitive side had a lot of promise to it. They added a lot of mechanics to pump it up. Like I was so ready to do it, but like 6v6 ranked is all I need. If there's a 6v6 ranked league in the next game, I kid you not, that game's getting 5,000 hours between the next like 3 years. Like it's not even close. Like a lot of the stuff that we would want to do in post game would be competitive 6v6. Who's with me on that?
I agree. I mean, like, when you think of Pokemon, you think of the 6-player battles. Like I said, everything by default is 6v6, whether it's Showdown, the Elite Four, especially with the rematches.
Even Legends
6 is the max. You might as well build a team around all the Pokemon you have.
Yeah.
You'd think that'd be the norm, but who knows? Especially if you boot up Gen 6, you're like, hey, this is Elite Four, so they're going to have 4 Pokemon. Like, what?
And then it's like they have VGC, and it's like, as popular as VGC is, it's not Pokemon. Double battles are not Pokemon at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a form of Pokemon. It's a competitive format. They put a lot, and I mean a lot of effort into double battles, especially in Gen 8. They added a lot of stuff that was specifically for double battles, but that's just not what people do, because your main game is single battle. So anyone who's going out of their way to play VGC are only doing it because that's the competitive format that you chose, not because necessarily they think it's the best way to play Pokemon. They might enjoy it, they might learn to love it, it might be their favorite, but most Pokemon players are playing the main game, doing post game, trading Pokemon, completing Pokedex. They're not worried about 2v2 battles, they're not worried about 3v3s. 6v6 is Pokemon. It's always been Pokemon. It's always going to be what people want. And if they just gave it to us, I don't care how many times I get stalled by an evolution team. It'll only make me hate Espeon and Umbreon more, and that's fine. I
don't care how many Toxapexes I see. That's my most hate. I hate Toxapex.
But that's the thing, right? Like, these Pokemon are still in the game. You're still able to bring them to 3v3. You can do a 3v3 stall evolution team if you want. It doesn't change anything. What did change was them removing Toxic from every Pokemon.
Yeah.
But like, now that you've done that, can we just get 6v6 next gen? Please?
Please and thank you, Game Freak.
Darian, go on with that one. That's a good lead-in.
Alright, well, number 3 is, this is going to be brought up by everyone. Since we're doing an open world 4-player co-op adventure, we need the most stable internet and servers possible. I don't know why Pokemon is eons behind every single thing when it comes to online connectivity. Gen 6 had the PSS, which was fine. Gen 7 had the Festival Plaza, which, to my knowledge, Keith hates to death.
It's the worst thing they've ever
done. Then Gen 8 had the Wycom, which only worked reliably. Like, I would have to start up a surprise trade. That would be the only way things would level up and update, especially if you're looking, like, if there's like Dynamax events going on and you're looking for specific mons. You would I would literally have to start a surprise trade, and that'd be the only way surprise trade the Dynamax raid battles would load and refresh.
And it's like, even then, that's still better than Festival Plaza.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I'm actually going to bring in one of my points so I can, like, 2 birds with one stone. Okay. In the section of things I don't want, I brought it up in one of the in the discussion video me and Keith had last week, is I mentioned that when me and my friends tried to play Ark, there was only a certain distance you could go from your friends before it pulled you back.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be a big problem for us because we're going to be adventuring together more than likely. But if there are times that we want to break off and kind of do our own thing, maybe we want to have some fun in competitions. Like, oh, let's catch stuff or whatever. I want to like. I just want it to be an option. Because I know some people might not want to be like us. Everyone's different. Not everyone want to be near each other. Like I said, we're not going to be like glued to each other. But when we do co-op,
when I get to Route 203 and they tell me there's a 1% chance to get a roll, they're not going to see me for a half hour. So
exactly. So and then there's other people who just want to explore and like some people go off in one direction. They're like, hey, yo, check this out. There's this really cool thing over here. And then they're like, all right, let's go check that out over there. I just don't want to be like you run away and then like some weird pop-up comes on your screen.
You are leaving.
And it's like, hey, what are you doing? Go back to your friends. I'm like, oh, please, dude. But yeah, this game just really needs a lot of internet. It just needs some connectivity. It needs it bad. Because like I said, Pokemon's been always behind in terms of like connecting to the internet, especially now in the mod. I get it back then. But like in the modern age, it needs to be ironed out big time.
Yeah, like
so that is all I gotta say about that one.
Yeah, like connectivity has always been in Pokemon, and it's just it's so baffling how they made such an early jump to like Wi-Fi, and then they've just had mid Wi-Fi the entire way through their career.
Mm-hmm.
It's so awkward. They definitely need to do something about that. Like honestly, I can always forgive them for stuff because at the end of the day, it's Pokemon. But they made such a big deal about it. There's no way that they're gonna just just give us the worst experience of our lives. Like I really hope that they competently made that decision in the office last year when they started talking about this game. I can just imagine at the table. It's like
going big in the open world.
It's like now's the time for us to do open world. And since we're doing open world, let's also give them co-op. It's like good co-op. It's like no, we're not gonna give them good co-op. We're saving that for
silly goose.
We're saving that for Gen 10.
Slow your roll there, Bucko.
For Gen 10, when we'll be another 10 years behind. But yeah, I overall I always have faith in them when it comes to their concepts. It's just execution wise, they need to put their best foot forward on that. Because not only is this really good for us veterans, but kids are probably gonna want to do that a lot too. They're probably gonna, because internet's like a bag of potato chips. Like everybody has it. Everybody's picked it up at some point. There's no way that kids aren't gonna play Pokemon, and this is from teaching at like an elementary to middle school level. Like they are going to want to play co-op, 100% if they're into Pokemon, and most kids are, at least in like the card game nowadays. But for those kids that have a Switch, they're gonna be very disappointed if they co-op so bad that they actually notice it. That's gonna ruin a franchise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I can forgive their past transgressions with online, but if that's their focal point in their game, they need to make it the focal point in their game. And I've repeated myself enough times. Jaquan, what's your third?
My third? Dang. Kind of hard.
Well, you can just start swapping over to things you just don't want to see.
Things I don't want to see. Heavy reliance on gimmicks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that was mine too, so we can knock that one out right now.
Yeah.
I think all three of us. None of us want it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I think Mega Evolution was their best gimmick.
Yeah.
And
yeah, definitely.
And they made a smart decision stopping it where they did, though.
No, for sure. I agree. After a while, finally, I stopped crying about it, and I was like, yeah, we don't really need this gimmick anymore. It was a cool gimmick. But kind of take a back seat and let the game itself do the talking.
Yeah,
instead of relying
focusing.
on the gimmick to basically save the game, or like
or make the
whatever
game. Yeah.
mechanic. Yeah, just because like I didn't play Pokemon Sword and Shield for freaking Dynamax.
Yeah, definitely. No.
Nobody did. Nobody did.
Like,
I remember when they first introduced Dynamax, I was actually pretty stoked for it. I thought it was a really good direction, and it honestly did turn out to be a good mechanic. They just didn't
But
sell it right. They just didn't sell it right at all because all the gyms were too easy.
Yeah. Agreed. There's a Buizel. I want to catch it for the decks.
Yes, Daniel.
Don't look at me.
nothing tried to.
Daniel, you okay?
what?
You said but.
Yeah, I said that for you.
You're saying, yeah, I was gonna say you said it for me. Thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you said Dynamax is a good mechanic, but
but they just didn't sell it
However.
right.
but they didn't do anything with it. So
It's like, and Z Crystals was something I absolutely hated in Gen 7 until I actually played around with it, and then I realized, yeah, this is just, it's whatever. It's a thing that exists. And then in competitive, surprisingly, Z Crystals felt about as impactful as Mega Evolutions without feeling like, oh, I'm just gonna one shot everything. Because when Pokemon are EV trained and they have good IVs, that move is something that you use at a like cincture. It's not something that you just use. But still, I hate the idea that they're just gonna throw another thing in. Like the game's gonna be good enough without it. Legends Arceus obviously didn't have to rely on a big gameplay mechanic. They just changed the gameplay up. If they just do that, that's fine. If that's something that they decide, hey, Legends Arceus has the agile style, it has the speed order stuff, and we're just gonna let that be its own thing. I'll forgive them because it's it's a good system, but like Jaquan said, like some of the stuff wasn't that crazy. They just made a lot of good decisions for the game overall, and if they go back to more standard Pokemon battling, then not adding a new mechanic on top of that would honestly just probably feel good right about now. Save their gumption, and then maybe in Gen 10 give us like the best battle mechanic adaptation ever. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows what?
Just don't do it now. We don't want it. God, how funny would it be if you could watch your friend battle, right? Let's say, for example, they had like Dynamax in the next game, and your frame rate just tanks. Everyone
Just
in the
dies.
party loses their fucking. Yeah, it's like a Gen 6. Remember when there was like a very specific combination that you could do in 4v4 to just slow the game down permanently.
Yeah.
If you're just playing at like one frame.
Yeah,
Every
the 3DS did not handle like triple battles and rotation battles well.
Yeah, it did not. But that's fine. So yeah, we don't want gimmicks. I also don't want Sword and Shield level battles. And by that I mean give us what you did in BDSP. It wasn't you, but let's look at that game and be like, they did something good there. Let's do that. Give us up. I mean, like they not only Ilka did not only update the gym battles, but they like changed up damn near every element of it. It was not a 1-to-1. It was nowhere close to a 1-to-1. Just do that. Just do it. Don't give us 3v3 gym battles the entire game. Please don't. I can forgive. A lot of people are like, oh, the Elite Four in Gen 6 only had 4 Pokemon. It's like 4 Pokemon is a team. I don't know what you're talking about. Like three Pokemon in the Elite Four battle? I don't think that's viable. Three Pokemon at the end of the gyms? I don't think that's viable. Raihan got saved by the fact that he was double battle with 4 Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Drifloon here. What the hell? I know it's nighttime, but jeez. Like I don't want Sword and Shield level battles. Oh, I forgot that Pokemon could gang up on you, and not just Arceus. I'm getting double teamed. I would really like it if they communicate with Ilka, praise them for their work first of all, and then also said, we're going to do this in our next game. That next game was not Legends Arceus. I really do hope that they take advantage of the momentum that they set up for them. I think that's all I got on that.
build
Like
on it.
it'd be really good to have challenging, not only hard, but like challenging and interactive teams. You know, I think that's all we could ask for at this point.
Yeah,
If
we
not,
said
if
earlier,
nothing
look
else,
at
just
what
give us
Oka
real
did
battles.
with BDSP. Oka made all the gym leaders and Elite Four members into freaking monsters.
Gave them not only berries but held items that buffed their stats. Gave them good natures. Like, oh my lord, I could swoon all day over that game. Like people are gonna completely take that for granted because they have like eight to 9 different things that they hate about the game. Some justified, some unjustified. But yeah, like we really just don't we don't need them to give us an easy game. Like it's all the same complaint, but it'd be really cool if they actually put in that kind of effort, or just grabbed 1 or 2 people from that team and be like, you guys are gonna work on the new game, you guys are gonna do all the gym battles. You know, it really only takes one person to do that. I don't know how they've gone this long doing gyms just completely piss poor. I don't know how they've been doing it for this long, honestly. All right, Darren, what do you got? What else do you not want to see?
All right, there. Let's see. Looking at my list, I already talked about Tethered the Co-op buddies. I have a little interesting one here. I don't know if it contradicts anything I said earlier. I hope it doesn't.
That'd be funny.
So, oh well. Bleh. One of the things I don't want to see is quote unquote the usual formula. I want Pokemon to feel like Pokemon, but you know, after what we've seen with Legends Arceus, it taking such a big leap away from, like, it still feels like a Pokemon game, but there's so many new mechanics and cool things in this game. I want to see Game Freak do something like that again, you know, flex their creative muscles. And sure, like I said, we could go with the usual, you know, it sounds like it's going to be like that, you know, get all 8 gym badges and do this, take on the Elite Four and blah, blah, blah. But with this big open world setting, and like I said, with what they did with Legends Arceus, I really want to see them, you know, go a little bit beyond, maybe take a few more risks, try to put in some kind of, maybe do something even crazier. Like I said, I know we don't really want a heavy reliance on gimmicks, but I just want to see how creative they can get with the game, like, not an over reliance on it, but like just get creative with the gimmicks you add into the game to make them feel especially, like, real special.
Yeah, like whatever they want to focus on, basically.
Make it meaningful. Something to remember, because like I said, people will whine about Mega Evolutions all the time, and that was 9 years ago where we got those, and people still want it. I still want it. I'm probably gonna be one of the
a lot of people hated the idea of Mega Evolutions at first.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, because it was implemented well, and that's why people gravitated.
In game, it's hit or miss. Post game, collecting all the stuff and having that as sort of a post game element was fine, but it was really what made competitive. Like Gen 6 would not have been a generation where literally all of us played competitive Pokemon if Mega Evolution didn't exist.
Yeah,
it brought in a lot of traction for the franchise. So I'm hoping with I would say, going off of what you said, if they're going to do open world right, then I think that'll solve a lot of the worries. Because that's one of the big things that they're focusing on. Obviously, we just talked co-op to death. It's another thing that they're going to be focusing on. But as long as they can just give us a good time, surprise us every now and then. Like for me, and I'll talk about more at my last point. But for me, like I was very interested in the characters in Sword and Shield. A lot of them had enough weight to them to where I could remember them, and that's saying a lot considering how often we go back in this franchise and how many times we play against characters. It really only took me the one time to figure out who all the characters were, some of their relationships, some of the things that they wanted. And you know, they had like not the gym, but like the trainer cards and stuff that you could read, and there were certain times where dialogue would give you more hints, and I like it. It was nice and subtle. So hopefully they take advantage of that, having more space to fill, having more characters you can add. you know, like if we got like an ensemble cast similar to like Gens 5 and 6, where it's not just, or I mean, Gen 5 only had 2, but it kept going, and like even in Gen 8 you have like 3 rivals, and then like a bunch of recurring characters, like just, you know, give us a lot of stuff to make us really believe that the world, you know, is breathable, since that's what you want to do, is make an open world. I mean, we've talked about it, but I don't think I said much about it until now, so that's what I'm saying on it. See, Japan, you got anything else to add in terms of things you don't want to see? So list of negatives. I'm sure you have a few.
I don't know. I mean, none that really come into mind. Like I was talking about earlier, it'll come to my mind when
And
we
the
get
last
closer
moment,
to
right?
the date. Yeah, and I'll be like,
You're gonna go to bed
well,
tonight.
and then I'm gonna be like, oh, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I
How
mean,
about your expectations for the Pokédex?
Okay, so I don't know what they're gonna. I mean, I
They're,
don't
they're
know if they
definitely
are
gonna
gonna.
limit it. They're definitely gonna limit it. They told us last gen that that's what they're gonna do moving forward. I'm on board with it, but how about you? What do you think about it?
I don't know. I mean, the reason why I can't say for sure is just because of the pushback they kind of did get from it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they did update the game with more Pokemon later down the road, but that only made people madder.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my point. Like, I don't really have a problem with them cutting the decks. You know, of course, I couldn't have my favorite boy in Folion, but like, it wasn't like
Yeah. I mean, with it being a starter,
it
that
didn't.
was bound to happen anyways.
Okay. For me, how I kind of see it is that it kind of makes sense in Pokemon lore that certain Pokemon are in certain regions. It doesn't make sense for every single Pokemon in existence to be part of the, like, you know, like, you can find it in that region. And I get that people are more of like, well, I want to bring that Pokemon over. Well, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna play competitive with it, or
Right.
you just want
Just
it,
gonna walk
or do
around
you
with
just want
it.
it in your, or do you just want it in your PC to have it in your PC? And that's kind of how I had to see it, is because
Yeah.
that's how I felt, because I was just like, well, I guess that makes sense. That really, I just want them to be in my PC box, just to be in my
Just to
PC
be in your
box.
PC box, yeah.
And then I was like, well, Pokemon Home does that for me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why does everyone want these Pokemon in the game
Right.
when they're not gonna
You're not
use
gonna
it?
do
You know?
anything with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that makes perfect sense. I mean, if we could have HM slaves for like 10 years, surely people understand that the value of Pokemon varies depending on where you are in the game. You know? Like if you're looking at your brand new copy of Pokemon Emerald in like 2007 or like 2006, 2005, how long ago was that? I'm old. Wait, I'm getting waxed right now. I just realized I'm in a battle with
I just
with a
realized
Pikachu.
my Oshawott also female. That's like a 12% chance. Heck yeah.
Buddy.
And I just got my ass beat, so
Yeah, if you pick up your brand new copy of Pokemon Emerald and you didn't play Ruby Sapphire and you figure out HMs are a thing, like 3 playthroughs in, you're just catching a random Pokemon just to, you know, learn everything for you, you know? I feel like that's how it is with the limits to your Pokédex and like just the interaction between game to game Pokemon in general. First off, it was privileged as fuck back in the days because you would either need a sibling with a Game Boy or your parents were busting out dough to buy you 2 copies of everything.
Oh yeah.
Or you had to have friends with a connection cable, and I had like one. I had a connection cable because my nephew got a Game Boy at some point. But I ended up using it more because he wasn't into Pokemon. Nowadays, you can trade, you can prep Pokemon for that kind of stuff. But even then, you still have to be like, hey, I know that you just got this brand new Pokemon game, but can you maybe just help me with all this real quick? Like that's it's just a non-thing, right? Some people legitimately will go as far as to breed a Pokemon from their previous game, trade it by themselves to another copy of the new game, right? There's no one there with them. There's the only incentive is doing it for yourself. And like I said, it's a stupid privileged Pokemon player thing. Just so that they can have a copy of their start from the last game or a copy of their favorite Pokemon from the last game and bring it forward with them. The fact that I had to explain all of that should tell you you're wasting your time. Just play the damn game, right? Like cutting the Pokemon, the Pokedex doesn't matter. It's never mattered. You've always had a limit on what Pokemon existed in the game. For example, in Gen 3 and Gen 4, I think especially, if you were to play a randomizer and you didn't have your national dex enabled, chances are you're going to have a really weird interaction where Pokemon just don't evolve, right? Because some Pokemon are in the national and the regional dex. Like they've always had this issue with Pokemon. It's just the fact that now that they openly said, hey, all these Pokemon are available in the game, but all of these Pokemon aren't, all of a sudden people think it's a new thing, and it's not. It's always been a thing. I really do hope that people don't complain about it again this time, because they will, right? And like you said, Jaquan, like when you really sit down and you use your brain and you think, what benefit do I have transferring level 100 Pokemon into my game? The answer is there is none. You get no benefit.
Nostalgia.
You don't do anything with that.
You literally don't do anything with your level 100 Pokemon.
Right.
You
like,
just you want them to sit in your box, because don't sit there and lie and say, "Oh, I just want to breed it." I'm like,
No, the fuck you don't.
you're not gonna breed it. You're not doing that.
You're not going to breed it just so you can have.
It's just literally there for the memories. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
I've had you since I was a wee lad.
If you really just want a Pokemon that's sitting in the PC box, get Pokemon Home.
Yeah.
Literally, just get Pokemon Home.
They take $3 out of my bank account every month, and I don't even notice.
Same. Like, I barely notice that they take out money, and I'm like, yeah, I just have Pokemon chilling in there, and that's fine, because it's like.
And then if you disable it, they're not going to take them away. They'll just tell you can't see them, which might honestly be worse. I don't know.
I mean, well, they'll do what Pokemon Bank did, which is still keep them in your box for you to view.
Yeah, but you can't access them until you pay.
Yeah.
Like move them.
Exactly. That's kind of sus, but
So,
it's way better than the alternative.
Bank is not really sus when it's like, just pay $5 to get your Pokemon back, take them out, don't have to use us again.
You don't have to use again, yeah. But then people are like, oh, but I can't transfer my Pokemon, so therefore I'm just. And it's like, dude, don't worry about it. It's not. There's no benefit to you bringing your Pokemon in. Like, I've transferred my Gardevoir from Gen 6 all the way up to Gen 8. Literally, I do it at some random point. I put it in my party, and I just do post-game grinding and stuff with it. The only value that you get out of it is the fact that it's an old Pokemon that you've had for years, and you can do that with Pokemon Home. You don't need to have your favorite Pokemon in the game. Saying as a privileged Gardevoir stan, you don't need your favorite Pokemon in the game. Simple as that. You don't need to use it for the 20th time in the 15 to 20 years you've been playing Pokemon, right? It's a very bizarre thing that people want for some reason. But yeah, that's a good one. It's a good topic.
Yeah, and again, like, bring this up. We're getting to the point. I just looked. There's 905 Pokemon. There's almost 1,000 Pokemon, and with this generation, probably adding around another 70 to 80 new ones.
Yeah, we're gonna be
plus some maybe event ones. We'll probably hit 1,000. And it's just, we're getting to the point where you really want 1,000 different Pokemon in this game. There's just so many. There's no way they can reliably put every single Pokemon.
Yeah,
in the
use
game.
the new Pokemon. Use Plusle. Use Sableye. Use all the Pokemon you thought were trash. Use them.
Yeah,
they're good. They can do some cool things. Except for like the random grass types that they give us in every gen, that has like one evolution Most of the time it's like Trader Stone, and they're just completely boring. Don't use those. Don't use them.
Don't use that. Don't do that.
I mean, obviously Sarina's probably the only good one I can think of off the top of my head. The rest of them are just don't use them. There's a lot of shinks here. But yeah, you already did your third, so I'll go ahead and just throw my third one out there.
Wasn't easy.
So like I was saying about Sword and Shield, a lot of people probably don't want to admit it, but the gym leaders are really good characters in that game. They're very memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whatever, it doesn't matter what Pokemon they use on their team. That's not really why we like gym leaders. We like them either because they were challenging, annoying, we like the design, etc., right? And the best thing that Gen 8 gave us when they were focusing on gym battles and a gym trainer circuit, the best thing that they did in that game was give us a little bit of characterization for every character. Even the characters in the post game and in the DLCs got trainer cards, and we were able to actually get a glimpse into these characters' lives. Most people just take the anime and conflate that with the games, but for example, Brock and Misty in the games are completely different people, right? But people coast off of their knowledge as a kid in the anime and say, "Oh yeah, no, we know Brock and Misty. Brock and Misty are great characters." They're not. In the games, they're nobodies, right? They don't have all those siblings that you saw in the anime. They don't have any of that extra bullshit that you know from the anime.
My boy Brock isn't a ladies' man.
He's
he
not
just
a ladies'
sits there
man.
and says, "I use my rock hard Pokemon," and then you battle him. Okay.
Yeah, but further along the line, we get more memorable trainers. We get more memorable interactions, right? Like in Gen 3, we got Norman. Norman is your father, That's a little bit of characterization. But in Gen 8, like, you can literally go into your copy of Sword and Shield right now and probably learn something new about those characters, either through their training cards or by going up and talking to them, or doing the star tournament, because you get to see some nice dynamics and nice interactions. They did a good job of subtly adding little details that can help you better associate with those characters. And if we get this game and every last one of these gym trainers are basic, I'm gonna break my Switch. Okay, I love it. Like, I love meeting new gym leaders. I like liking them. Like, I like Ramos because of Pokemon Masters. He's pretty cool in Pokemon Masters. Pokemon Masters does a really good job again of adding to the lore, but it feels kind of back and forth, because you'll have like manga exclusive characters, and then you'll have like anime versions of the characters, and then you'll also have like video game versions of the characters, and that's it kind of gets too much. But my biggest complaint with the next game is that I just hate all the characters and they're all boring and generic. That's the last thing I want to say about the games. I do not want to go into these games, enjoy everything else, but then be like, "Oh yeah, I remember I beat the fire type gym and I beat the rock type gym, and I just don't know the characters' names and don't care about them."
That's neat. I care about nobody. Great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I have strong style now. Cool. I think that was my last big complaint. What do you guys think?
I guess this might be like my little gripe. Let these legendary Pokemon kind of be memorable. Sometimes a legendary Pokemon can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, for example, for me, Solgaleo and Lunala are hit or miss.
Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting indeed.
I mean, Zamazenta and Zacian, in my opinion, are a lot. I'm not saying they're hit or miss or anything, but like, I want legendary Pokemon that I feel like are gonna be impactful.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ho-Oh.
Yeah, especially like story wise.
Yeah, like Zacian and Zamazenta were really well implemented in the Sword and Shield. I mean, you had Nebby, but Nebby doesn't feel like Solgaleo and Lunala.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I think that's
you
where
had
you're going with
Solgaleo
that, right?
Lunala, and then it turns out that Necrozma's the main
character.
the main threat you got to worry about, because he controls them and has the secret form and all that stuff.
Yeah, not to mention like the alternate version, like Dimension has their own version of Solgaleo and Lunala. So like whichever game you pick, you have Nebby, and then the other one's just like a random thing, right? I mean, like, Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza, I think, are good examples of like a little mid-range, right? Because the game's focused on them as like a MacGuffin, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows about them. Everybody's sort of after them. You have like the big fight between the two, and Rayquaza is one that breaks it up, and you even have the region divided into land and water respectively to sort of like bring it all together, right, thematically. And then to go even deeper into Hoenn's lore is all about people and Pokemon connecting together environmentally and living in like a coexistence. So it's like, if you give us a legendary, do that at the minimum. I think would be
Connecting together, huh?
Yaggers. Yeah, no. That's Gen 4. Stop. That's Gen 4, where we got the inspiration for the villains of my Pokemon story. Back when people in Pokemon married each other. Oh yeah, did I ever tell you that? That's actually in the lore. Like,
Yeah, it's like
there's also a man with a samurai sword that just goes around and butchers random Pokemon for no reason.
Oh yeah, I mean they still do
And
this to
then,
this
and
day.
then Arceus comes down and says, "Can you cut that shit out, my boy?" And he's like, "Okay."
He's like, okay, fine.
I don't know if it was exactly Arceus, but there's a Pokemon that tells him to stop that. Stop that. Get some help.
And then
Yeah, I love this.
I think Xerneas and Yveltal work really well as well, because again, tied to the games. They're kind of just a MacGuffin, but the characters sort of inform you more about it, etc., etc. Dialga and Palkia are good. I don't really care much for Reshiram and Zekrom. Reshiram and Zekrom are a bit too abstract for me. Yeah. How you feel about those, Jacqueline? You about there too? Like where do you like how well do you think they've implemented legendaries in the past outside of the example you just gave?
Oh, I think if we're gonna talk about, I guess the best way is talk about the ones that didn't work well into the story. And
I forgot you take fall damage.
You know, I'm gonna have to include even the ones that couldn't be helped, like the older games, which didn't really have a true focus on story.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, for example, it's like I kind of like one. It's kind of hard for me to just say Gen 1, but Gen 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you talking about the birds or Mew and Mewtwo?
Well, I'm talking about, all five.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But I mean, first you do learn about the birds pretty early, in the story. I mean, like once you get to Seafoam Island, it's like you can encounter Articuno pretty early.
You can encounter Zapdos extremely early.
Yeah, I think it's Articuno first, because you get Surf once you get down to Fuchsia City.
You're right. Surf gives you access to him.
Damn, I about lost track. Mewtwo is kind of more of like a hidden thing. Mew and Mewtwo are hidden things, just because it's like, oh, if you were in the Pokemon Mansion, you actually
clicked and interacted with stuff.
And interacted with all the books and the shit. You learn about the creature in freaking Cerulean Cave.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it's kind of cool, but
Yeah, but it's not focused, right?
But it's not focused. It's not the point of the game is basically defeat Team Rocket, defeat Giovanni, get your champion, become champion, and that's it. It's not all about quelling the beast. The main goal of the game is catch every single Pokemon out there in Kanto.
And then when you find out that there's like these mysterious two that Alu does, that's about it. That's all they have.
Yeah. And then moving on to Gen 2, Gen 2 tries to focus a little bit more on story, but how it's kind of seen is that
it's still an afterthought, right?
Yeah, these two creatures exist in the story,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not the main focus. They're more of the okay, so hey, do you want to meet a creature and catch it? And you're like,
Oh, boy, do I.
well, sure. I mean, like, cool. I mean, that sounds kind of amazing, and that's kind of what that is. It's just like, I mean, like, you're basically asked, hey, do you want to meet this creature? And you're like,
Yes. Yes, I do.
yeah,
Is it on the
yeah.
box? Yes, I do.
It's like, sure. I mean, like, does he have anything to do with the story? No. Just
No, but we could
You
write a
must be
story.
worthy of it, though, or you cannot pass.
yeah. I mean, but the thing about it just has nothing to do with story.
Yeah.
Um, of course, how went third gen was when they really wanted to focus on story,
Yeah.
and they did a good job from then on out.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt that kind of like Sun and Moon, it's like as soon as you get Sol Galeo and Lunala, it's I don't have a problem with there being an overall plot. Um, the Ultra Beast was the overall plot for the first game,
Right.
but it was kind of like, cool, you got this free Pokemon, Nebby, and it's like, oh, take care of it. It's like, okay, I guess free Pokemon that does nothing. And it's like, oh, it's actually a legendary Pokemon. And I'm like, well, no shit. It didn't look like a regular Pokemon.
Yeah, it's not in the
Um,
Pokédex. It's not in the
I'm like,
wild.
okay. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I mean, like, I guess you're here. And then it's like, oh, now you're Solgaleo. Now
It's
you're
like, wow.
Lunala. It's like, wow,
Through
that's
a
cool.
cutscene.
And then
Just a cutscene.
You were
Oh,
the box art legendary. I mean, we
yeah,
were surprised a little bit by that, but wow, you're
oh
the
yeah.
box art legendary. Who would have guessed?
And then it's like, oh, cool. I guess you want
Guess
to
you're on the team
fight.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like, you want to fight and be on my team. Okay, cool. And then, oh, move on. That's it. It's
Yeah.
like, that was it. It's like
Yeah,
nothing else.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Legendary. And I mean, like, some stories do it right, but I mean, like,
Yeah, I
some
said
stories.
Gen 3 through 5, Gen 6, and I mean to an extent Gen 8 all do it fine. But
They,
like Gen 8 does it similar to Gen 3, which is why I barely give it a pass.
I appreciate when they incorporate the legendary into the story as the
focal, right?
being an essential part to what you need to basically defeat your enemy. Like,
Do I want to use
Oh
Crobat?
yeah, I know what you mean.
like Gen 5,
Yeah.
I'll say as an example.
Yeah,
in
both the
both
Gen
games.
5 games.
Both
Yeah.
you fight what you call it. You fight in the first game after you catch whatever,
Yeah, and then
black
he
or
has the
white.
other.
And he has the other, and it's supposed to be kind of a contrast of both of y'all ideals as a
Right.
warrior of white and a warrior of black. And then in the second game, it's like
You gotta beat
your
Kyurem.
main enemy is basically like, oh yeah, I captured Kyurem, now I'm gonna capture the other two, which my son has, and then capture the one that my son has because that's the one that I think is from
Yeah.
And the one that N has is the one that becomes Kyurem, whatever.
Yeah.
And basically, I have to fight that creature, then I have to basically knock the freaking black out of it or the white out of it.
Pause.
Oh, canceled.
And
Up the black.
and that relates to the plot because in the end, I guess it's kind of not fair because Black and White 2 is a sequel to the first game, so it's like,
I mean, we had
if
Ultra Sun and Moon. It's fair.
no, well,
They
Yeah, no,
had
I'm saying-
they had a chance to be as good as that.
no, I agree. I'm just saying Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon are not technically sequels. They're basically
Right.
what I call basically Sun and Moon 0.5.
Yeah. No, I know
Because
exactly
I'm
what you
like,
mean.
you know, honestly, it's like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon are DLC games if we really want to be real.
Yeah.
But
They're not definitive versions out there. They're just their own thing. Really weird.
yeah. But like I said, is that they played a role in the plot. They
Yeah, like
mattered.
they were part of that actual conflict.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate for that. And that's why I say that Solgaleo and Lunala don't really play a plot.
A part of the
Or,
plot. Yeah,
like,
because they're sort
part
of
of the
like an after. I mean, okay, so wait. So to be fair, they kind of ruined that to begin with Team Skull being so drastically different, right? They could have had an easy layup into it, but then, like you said, like you really just get to this point where it's like, oh, there's this threat, we need to take care of it, and then it's like, oh, by the way, here you can now have Nebby. It's like, I didn't want Nebby.
You take them. Like,
I didn't really.
ask.
I didn't want.
And you have to
Nebby.
evolve it too into Cosmo and all that.
Well,
stuff.
yeah,
I'm
and then you have
like,
like the extra one, so you can get the whatever. It's weird.
I'm a babysitter.
Yeah,
now,
and
so-
it's like you really just don't. You don't really get that much mileage out of the Pokemon story wise because the story's already wrapped up. I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Pop.
Yeah. So hopefully, yeah, especially because these two legendaries look very. I mean, not involved. That's a dumb word. I would say like these legendaries do look like they've got a lot happening, right? I don't know
Yeah.
how they're gonna nail the thematics of like the past and present, or like tradition and what's the opposite of tradition? Advancements.
Advancements.
Yeah.
Not adaptability. Modernism.
Modern,
So-
yeah, being a liberal.
Is that a word?
Being liberal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I already know Americans are gonna get a
Reject
big chuckle.
modernity.
They're gonna
tradition.
project really hard with this game, probably, depending on how the
Most
story
likely.
actually goes. Gonna be,
But
and then we can just enjoy the internet hating on America more for forcing everybody's to be political. Yeah, so hopefully they do make it so that when we get because Zacian and Zamazenta also play a big role in the final fight, and the final fight versus Dynamax or is it like Gigantamax version? What is the
Eternamax.
Eternamax of Eternatus, yeah.
Eternatus.
What'd you do?
Alpha Floatzel.
Ah.
Leave me alone.
I'm
Oh.
double teaming with you right now.
yeah, kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him.
End him.
Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. I said,
Sick water pulse, idiot.
Yeah, I feel like
You
I feel like they have such an easy in to it this time around. They really just have to pull the trigger and just say, all right, we did in the last game.
Enough is enough.
Do it in this game too.
The trigger must be
Enough is
destroyed.
enough. Stop the presses. But yeah, we did a lot of rambling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
Nice.
What's gonna be our next? We'll probably do our tier list soon, right?
I'm about to say, I was going to ask, what do you think the typing for,
Oh yeah, I think Darian and I might have mentioned this in the video. I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
I think
I'm
you wanted
hoping we
electric
get ground
flying.
flying. Yeah, I'm hoping we get ground
Yeah.
and electric flying.
is it electric flying?
Yeah, the
I'm
past
calling- I'm
one
calling
would be
electric
ground
psychic.
type, and the future one would be electric flying.
I'm calling electric psychic.
Mainly
See,
because we get steel. We already got steel type recently
Yeah.
in the last
I
two
don't-
gens.
Yeah. I mean, from the way it looks, I mean, definitely it's an electric type.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I do still think it's a steel type, just because of
Yeah.
the way, like, if they really are gonna do like the modernization versus tradition,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a steel type, just because steel is kind of considered a refined.
Yeah,
Modern element.
I know
I don't
exactly what you mean. Yeah, and I'm hoping that they just settle with electric for that, because energy is the gateway to everything.
Yeah.
And then
I
I'm
mean-
hoping that we get a ground type, and I hope that we don't get dragon type at all. again.
Yeah, no,
Like the
no,
eighth
for
time.
sure. I think Dragon type for a legendary is a cop out. It's
It is a cop out.
not every legendary needs to be a dragon type. It doesn't. It doesn't like. Yes, it's kind of cool, but it's like no, not every. There's just yes, dragon is a powerful type,
Right.
but
It's
Not
the
the only
fairy,
one.
mythical.
fairy
Fairy is
crushes
there. Yep.
fairy crushes that type like it's nothing now. So
Yeah.
it's like choose a different type other than dragon and steel. Choose weak typings. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Give us a legendary that we don't want to use.
I mean,
We
like
make it a normal bug type. There we go.
Yeah, like Groudon and Kyogre were perfect examples. They added a dragon type on to Rayquaza, and it just made Rayquaza a cooler Pokemon by contrast, right? Obviously, you're gonna believe that a flying dragon type can be a ground and water type. It's
Yeah.
just it makes sense, right?
I
But
guess, I guess the typing that I still think is trash for a legendary, and we already talked about it, is freaking Lugia.
yeah,
Psychic
Why
flying,
the-
the guardian of the
Flying.
sea.
Why the hell are you
Little
psychic,
douche.
psychic flying?
hey man,
I d-
they were smoking that good stuff back then.
I know they were, and I was just like, bruh. If anything, the typing I'd give it, even though we have too many of them, is water psychic. If
Yeah,
that was the
that's
case.
completely fine. Like nobody would be upset about that. Like we got
Water-
Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina all being dragon types in the next generation.
He could have either been water psychic or water flying. I
Yeah,
didn't care.
Water Psychic would have been interesting.
I know, no, for sure. But like, I kind of want them to go back to origins like this. Like, ooh, actually, what if the instead of what were you saying? Electric flying, electric psychic.
That's what I was
Oh, that'd
guessing.
be
Since
pretty-
it's for
that'd be
about the
pretty
future.
gas,
That was
yeah.
my first guess. Was electric psychic.
Oh god, I
Yeah,
gotta fight the Alpha Cricket.
I'm about to say I think that'd be a good. That'd definitely be a good typing for that one. But the other one, I'm still kind of confused because I can't tell what typing.
Yeah, I can't really
Yo,
pin
how
one down.
wait, guys. How crazy would it be if it's just a normal type? That'd be
Well,
nuts.
That'd be wild.
Well, you got to
Okay.
remember how they do normal types. Is they have to be based off real things.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a lizard before.
Well-
yeah, I've
well-
seen a lizard before and I've seen tires before.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're right, but like you know how their thing is it has to be like a normal thing that you see because like freaking what's that olive Pokemon and Lechonk are normal types.
Smoliv and Lechonk. Smoliv is grass normal, yeah.
Yeah, grass normal because it's a
Which is a
freaking olive.
shit typing, by the way.
Yeah, because it's a freaking olive.
Imagine being a grass type weak to fighting. That's so random. it's, so,
Imagine that.
it's so
I mean, like you gain a weakness for
for
nothing.
no reason. Zero benefit.
You gain an immunity. Who.
I mean, I
who
guess
cares?
the ghost, but I mean, like, what did ghosts do to you in general?
Mm.
They just looked at
It's
you.
like, I mean, like,
There you go.
what was Ghost doing to me before then? I mean, other than being like, oh,
Good old neutral damage.
I guess,
Yeah.
I guess, good old neutral damage. I guess, man.
I've seen
Yeah,
one
so back,
Eevee,
so
and
back
I
to
can't
wrapping
find
up
it.
this recording. What do you guys think we're gonna do next?
Definitely, like I said, a tier list. I
Oh,
know
tier
you
list.
put a list in the Discord
Oh yeah,
of some
Dippos.
ideas that you
Yeah,
had.
definitely.
I'm not gonna lie, this could be a potential spoiler for the video if we go with it. You had the fucking waifu one, and I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, the Pokemon waifu one. Yeah, true.
That'd be
Honestly.
funny as hell. I don't know. We got some discussion videos. I don't know. We probably won't have another one until like the Legends Arceus review, unless Game Freak Shadow drops a trailer within the next few weeks, which they won't. But
I mean,
the Lord works.
I mean, who cares
ways.
if they do? A Drive's just gonna be on Twitter 24/7 jerking off leaks. Regardless.
It's
Like,
good.
the community, yeah, the community doesn't need
Good.
need anything right now. We're good just doing stuff we want to do.